Hello again guys, welcome to another video. This week I've been making an awful lot of face masks ready for me to go back to work and use public transport and everything, so I thought I would just give you a really quick rundown on how I've been making my style of face masks. They're a fitted style of face mask, so you can see there it sort of has kind of like a beak kind of shape to it, a bit of elastic at the side so you can wear it comfortably. They're really simple, but they're a little bit fiddly to sort of, cut and tie all the loose threads and everything from all the separate bits of sewing you need to do, but they're quite comfortable to wear, so I think they're quite a good style of mask to wear. I've just been using up loads of old fabric I've had hanging around for way longer than it needs to be really, so I've got a right old mixture of stuff, but I've got a saying that is, life's too short for boring shoes. I believe this extends to face masks as well. At least now it does. Now this particular style of face mask doesn't contain a filter pocket of any kind. I've heard that some people have been putting coffee filters in their masks as like an extra layer of protection. I'm not doing that with mine. The whole reason I wanted to make my own in the first place was to get away from that disposable nature of the medical face masks, because yes, we need to protect ourselves and each other, but also the planet still needs protecting too, and I hate waste. I've gone to a lot of effort to try and cut down my own waste over the last couple of years, so I'm not going to start adding to it again just because a virus is threatening me. It would take an awful lot more for me to start throwing away lots of rubbish again. There are plenty of other tutorials around YouTube and online though, so if you're not happy with this style of mask, you can just sort of move on and find something else that suits you better. You can get sort of pleated ones with lots of layers. Like I said, you can get the ones with filter pockets in them as well. There's plenty to go around, so if this doesn't work for you, you can just try something else. So that's just a few examples of the styles of masks I've been making. You might notice a rather nice table there as well from last week's video. I'm enjoying having a desk in my room, that's really useful. So that one, any of the fabrics where I had an awful lot of the fabric left, I've lined both sides with the same fabric, but if I haven't got very much of it, like this one here, then I've lined it with, this is curtain fabric, which was given to me very kindly by a friend. And then, I believe that's the same as well, yeah, that one's got a pattern on it as well. When you're cutting your fabric out, if there's a pattern you want to keep on it, you can sort of figure out where you want that to be when you're cutting your shapes. And the elastic, now that's quite thick. I wouldn't go any thicker than that elastic wise, but like I said, I've been trying to use up some of the fabric and materials I've had lying around for quite a while, so use that. That's a much more comfortable size of elastic, but you can go smaller than that if you really wanted to, depending on what feels comfortable for you. Black's about the same again as well. So for your elastic bands, you're going to need 8 inches for both sides. So this piece is 8 inches long, and so is that piece. Both of those will go around your ears quite comfortably. For an adult size mask, you need to cut a circle of fabric roughly 10 to 11 inches in size. This plate, commonly known as my ugly plate, how rude, it's a beautiful plate. That is 10.5 inches in diameter. So I use this to mark out my fabric. And then you can see I've got some cuttings here. When you've got your circle ready, you just cut it into quarters, and this will make the 4 sections of your mask. You can also see I've used pinking shears. Don't worry if you don't have pinking shears, as soon as you sew it the fraying should stop, but if you do have pinking shears then it just makes it so much easier to work with, because it will stop the fraying while the fabric is loose like this. In some cases where I didn't have very much fabric left at all, I just cut a semicircle out of it, still using the plate, just sort of halfway across, and then cut that into 2, and then obviously added it to 2 pieces of something slightly different. So the curtain fabric is polyester. That's supposedly a better fabric to use for the lining in your masks. It's supposed to protect you a little bit more. That's not scientific. We don't really know an awful lot about it yet, so just use whatever you've got really. And that is cotton, that one there. So we've got a bit of a mixture going on here. Now these pieces need to be sewn together. So with the white ones, they're the same on both sides, so it doesn't really matter what side you sew together. So you just stitch along the outer edge there first. But pieces like this where you've got pattern that you want to show on the side that's, you know, covering your face, you need to stitch them together like a pillow. If you've ever sewn a pillow together, pattern needs to be on the inside so that the back of the fabric is what's facing you when you're sewing. So again, you just need to sew along the edges there. In true Blue Peter style, here's a couple I made earlier. So you can see I've just stitched along the outer edge there on the white one, and the same on pink. And then you can see the inside there is where the neat seam is going to be. So for the next step, you need to stitch the two pieces together. So this is going to go inside this, but you need to turn this inside out for it to work. So turning it inside out reveals the neat seam, and then you've got your gubbins and everything on the inside there. That's not going to show in the final product because that will be inside your mask. This is the part that will be level with your face. So that just has to go inside there. So effectively what you do is you place one on top of the other, making sure that your ugly seams are both on show and the insides are the neat seams. So what you will do next is you will stitch, this isn't very neat, I'm trying to do it with one hand, it's not very easy. What you'll do is then stitch around the outer edge of both of them to get them to stick together, but you'll leave a gap at the edge here because you're going to need to turn it inside out before you add the elastic. There we go, so I've stitched all around the edge there. I haven't lined up my fabric very well, but it doesn't really matter, it's still going to work. But you can see I've left a gap at the edge there because we're going to pull all the fabric through this hole here, which is a little bit tricky because I've left the hole a little bit small and I can't do it one-handed, so I'm just going to do that to show you what I mean. And there we are, it's inside out. So as you can see, it's looking way more like a mask now. All that's left to do is stitch the elastic onto the sides. So to stitch the elastic on, all you need to do is place either end of the elastic onto your mask like that and fold the edge over and stitch it in. And that's pretty much it. I mean, obviously you would need both sides in. You can, if you want, place it centre like that and then stitch it on like that and just tie the two ends of elastic in a knot. I prefer to stitch the ends underneath because then you don't have to tie the ends and your elastic won't fray either. The other side, as you can see, is the side with the hole. All I've been doing is tucking the edges in a little bit on the inside, folding it over as normal and stitching it down, and that tends to hold everything in place for you. And that's the elastic stitched on. So you can see where I folded it over, I've just gone along all of the edges with my machine. You can just do one line across the bottom, but I do tend to find when you're wearing them, if you do that, it sort of pulls this bit outwards a little bit and isn't very neat, not very flush, sort of sit on your face. You can iron these once they're done. Don't iron the elastic, it will melt, it's mostly plastic. But yeah, if you want to keep them sort of relatively flat, I'd probably fold them like that and just iron over the top. And there you go. Obviously now I have to wash this one, it is already contaminated. But I had to show you what they look like on. They're pretty flush with the faces, and it's quite comfortable actually, this is perfectly fine. The only trouble is that it's really warm right now, so it does feel a bit hot on the inside. But it's not steaming up my glasses though, so that's even better. I was fully expecting to never be able to see again wearing one of these. But we're good to go. So there we go. Simple as that. Apologies I didn't show you any of the sewing steps. To actually film my sewing machine while I'm working at it is not very easy. Also, my sewing machine is the embodiment of evil. And I feel like if I started filming it, it would play up endlessly. So I just cut that out for you. But there are plenty of other videos, as I've said, that sort of teach you how to make this style of face mask and others. So if you want a bit more of an in-depth tutorial, you can go look at some of those. Obviously, if you're going to be using your own face masks that you've made and are planning to wash, they need to be washed at quite a high temperature. The eco-warrior in me despises it, but you have to keep them, you know, free from contamination. So 60-degree wash for all your masks. and they should be good to go. What I'm probably going to do is, well, I'm actually going to make a lot of masks. I don't really know if I'm going to need them for work yet, but I will definitely need them for train travel. So I'm just going to make sure I've got enough to keep me going for a while, so that by the time I come to wash them, there's enough to potentially put them in for a slightly shorter wash at that higher temperature. So thank you for watching any of my videos so far in lockdown, really. Probably, potentially, this is the last one for a while, maybe. I am going back to work soon, so I don't know if I'm going to get time to do any more. We shall have to see, but yeah, thank you for keeping up to date with me and having a go at all the things I've shown you, or even just, you know, watching. It's you know, it's great that you've even done that and commented, and yeah, excellent stuff. I'm really pleased that you've enjoyed it. Thanks very much, guys, and hopefully see you all soon. Be safe.